Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Oh, what a beautiful morning here in Oxnard, California. Here with the Cowboys in training camp for another week and a half. And it's time for Mick Shots on this gorgeous Wednesday. I can't emphasize that enough. Nate Newton, Savannah Humoller, Mickey Spagnola with you on Mick Shots here for the next 45, maybe 50 minutes as we get started with our Zamboni at the other end of the practice field. But by God, he's out here cleaning up the field because not only is it a beautiful day, it's going to be a fun day. The Cowboys and the Rams practicing again. They're having another scrimmage here later this morning, and that'll be fun to watch. But we've got a whole lot to talk about, especially after the walkthrough yesterday and some injury reports. And now I got to use my outdoor voice to make sure that the Zamboni doesn't drown us out. Looks like they're cleaning up the field. There was a little morning dew, right? Not only blowing leaves, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, Nate Newton, Savannah, I thought we would start here. And I think it's funny how when they, in the Dallas Morning News, it's like they interview somebody and it's told the Dallas Morning News, right? Well, I got one. Told Mickey Spagnola, all right? The injury to Chuma Edoga is a dislocated big left toe. And it doesn't sound like something, but you need, if you do anything, Nate, right? You need your big toes. That's where all your push-off is. You can't have
like
a
missing
sore
a thumb.
big toe. Exactly. So here's the deal. Not only is it dislocated, but I was told that it could be 6 weeks to 3 months before he would be ready to play football again. And what they've got to decide is, do they keep him on the 53-man roster and for one day and then put him on IR return?
Okay.
But they said he probably wouldn't be ready to return till around Thanksgiving. Or do they just say, you know what, we just got to put him on IR and it's a wash. He doesn't play this year at all. But in any case, knowing that he could be out that long, they need a backup swing tackle. And that's where Edoga was fitting in. It's not like, oh, well, they got to start the rookie Tyler Guyton at left tackle. That was going to happen anyway, right? He was going to beat Edoga out for that starting position. It was just a matter of when. But now, who's your backup swing tackle?
Awesome Riches.
And that's who they're going to work first, Nate.
Yeah.
And
awesome
but
Riches.
the thing
Awesome
I'm somewhat
Riches are somebody off
concerned
the
about,
street.
is Edoga really was the only experienced backup they have. Richards didn't play all that much last year.
Just only doing training camp.
Right.
Yes.
And so I think Nate and I are in agreement. We like what we've seen from him at tackle, but he hasn't done it. And what happens if he has to go in and play 60 snaps 3 games in a row if there's an injury there? So I think you can say, well, they're going to look at the wire, but at this point, as we know, there isn't that many good offensive linemen available at this point. And even when we get to the cuts, I believe it's August 27th, they cut to 53. Teams just don't get rid of offensive linemen if they have anything. There's not enough offensive linemen to play in this league. So the Cowboys need to be in a hurry, not only to develop Tyler Guyton, who will play practice today in the scrimmage with the first team at left tackle, but they've got to find a backup. Now, your assessment of what you think you've seen of Awesome Richards so far.
I like him, and I pick a guy every year that I would bug a coach about, and every other day I bug Coach Mike Solari about Awesome Richards. And he finally said, because Coach would never give away information. So, but I bug you.
He's pretty tight,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, he is.
And he said, Nate, I say, my man got 60-something snaps, at guard. He said, yeah, I like him, Nate. He got great recovery. He got good feet. He can stay in front of a guy, but can he finish? Is he physical enough? And that is an issue with him. Sometimes it's not that he lose confidence. He just kind of go out of haywire and it won't look good for a couple of series. I mean, a couple of snaps, not series, but snaps. And it leaves like,
He's
that
more
bad
reserved.
taste in your mouth. Yeah. So he's got to get more physical, and he's got to be a little bit more dominant. But he has the athletic ability and the recoverability with his feet to play tackle. But will he be mean enough? Because if you got him at swing tackle with the possibility of playing a guard, you got a special guy. But if he don't toughen up and get full confidence from Coach Solari, we'll be bringing somebody in.
And they're going to have to, they'll look to see.
Yeah.
But again, with, as I like to point out, 2,880 guys employed in the NFL, and if you're not employed at this point, what you got?
Yeah.
Especially offensive linemen, because, Savannah, we know that there's not enough of those guys to go around in the UFL, which really causes problems with offense in that league, let alone have extra guys available to be experienced backups here in the NFL. So that's one thing that we're going to have to keep looking at.
And I really do think Awesome Richards has the opportunity right now to step up and show that he's a physical guy and really work on it. This is a great day where he's practicing against the Rams to start implementing some of that. But also, we do need to look at the fact Earl Bostick, we have him on the chart, Nathan Thomas, one of our 7th-round picks. Obviously, these guys take a lot of time to develop, but these are opportunities for those two as well. I really think you need to look at this whole roster, whole offensive line group, and see who's going to be the most physical in this area. Awesome Richards needs to make that step up, but we do have Earl Bostick, who played a little bit during the first preseason game as well.
Yeah, and what worries me, though, is we're talking about guys who have no experience playing in the NFL. And then you're going to ask them to probably not get as much practice as you normally would if you're a starter, to be able to jump in and not only play well, but know what to do. And I think that's kind of a scary proposition right now.
Earl Bostick is probably ahead of the other guy right now.
Nathan Thomas.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And they seem like they want, let's go on the right side. And he hasn't had a good camp yet. I don't know what you think, but I think he's in a push to make this team.
It's two guys, and I refuse them to call their name. I've never been fans of theirs, and I don't want their parents or wives to think that I hate them. But Josh Ball.
Yeah, I knew where you were
I've
going.
never been fans of theirs. Tall, rangy, look like athletic guys, but for some reason, when you can't stay healthy, that bothers me. When I know you're not going to give me at least 12 to 14 games, that bothers me. And neither one of these guys will give you that. I'm not saying that they're not mature and understand this game by now, but they won't give you 12 to 14 games. They'll be in and out of the lineup, so you can't even depend on them as backups. Kind of like I look at Schumer.
Yeah.
You can't depend on them, but that's today's NFL. I think every team is suffering with that.
And really, the only experience Ball has is on special teams.
Yes.
He's played 13 games in his career, but he really hasn't had any offensive line snaps. And Willetsko just can't stay healthy.
Nah.
And he has no experience. And those are two guys, I believe both of them were fifth round draft choices. And there's nothing there. So that's one thing the Cowboys are going to have to look at. And I think we think that Guyton has the ability. He showed
Needs the reps.
He got better feet than I thought he had, but he needs reps. He missed 4 practices last week with a chest cold, but he was able to play. I think it was 2 series. They didn't want to overdo it with him, but we will see him out here today against the Rams with the first team at left tackle. We'll see him against the Raiders playing in that preseason game on Saturday. But as you said, Nate, he needs reps.
He needs reps, man. And I am so excited. When they told me the Rams was coming back in here, I am so excited because they have a pass rushing group of guys that ain't nothing nice. They got a young guy, Verse. I mean, woo! This is different. I mean, whereas Parson is pure speed, this guy got a little bit more. He got some speed, he got some power, and he put it together the other day on us. Now, I'm not saying this is a game, but this guy got something.
You
to
talking
him.
about number 8?
Oh my God,
Verse.
Ooh. And you look at his body.
He might have been the best player I saw on the field for the Rams.
Bro, I don't know
He's
what
a
he
rookie.
was.
He's a rookie, but boy.
Yeah, no, but man.
Yeah.
But man. Yeah.
First round draft choice.
And he's willing to mix it up. He's willing to get physical with you. If you want to get physical, and he's a chirper. He's a chirper. But, I'm going to keep an eye on him during the season.
Yeah.
I want to know what he does during the season. And like I say, sacks ain't going to impress me with him. But hurries, tackles for loss, I want to see if he got that all-around game.
Well, when I ran it, or I should say he came up to me, Guyton's dad.
Yeah.
Here,
Really?
He's been here a couple days already. And I said, well, you got to get him going. And he goes, I'm just the mental coach. I'll stay on him mentally, right, to make sure he's getting himself ready.
There we go.
I could have cured Guyton in 2 days. I know Jim and Britt, please don't take this the wrong way, but I could have cured him with an old-time cure. Some Vicks, vapor rub.
Here we go.
Back to this.
In a hot towel, in a hot room.
Get rid of that chest cold.
I'd had him right. Now, I'm just messing around. Please don't tell Jim Myers that.
No, he just needs as many reps as possible
Yes, ma'am.
today and on Saturday and through the rest of training camp. But Awesome Richards, he needs some reps too. So it's got to be a good rotation because you can't put it all on Tyler Guyton just right away. These guys both need to get caught up to speed.
Ma'am. First round pick, yes.
Right away?
Right away.
Right away.
I would have be honest with you, Miss
Shouldn't
Savannah,
even messed around. We know what Chuma Adoga is.
More importantly, in today's NFL, your first, second, and third pick, you don't mess around. Even if you got a great starter, you still don't mess around. You tell yourself, hey, man, we're going to put this boy in here. You know you the man. You don't mess around because it's called development, and we don't get with so many days. And what if a guy get a chest cold, then he going to miss 4 days? Come on now. You don't mess around. Mm-hmm. You agree, Mick?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the other move that we're going to see today is Cooper Beebe has been second team center, making the transition from guard to center in the NFL. He's going to work with the first team today. So they're going to put him in with the first line, and we'll see how he does. Now, Brock Hoffman's been holding that spot down, and I don't think there was anything wrong with Brock Hoffman, but I think they want to see what Beebe does at center. And so this week, he moves to center.
See, that
third-round pick, by the way.
But this is the problem I had. You should have been doing that 2 weeks ago. Just periodically putting him in. 2 weeks. First, second, and third round picks, don't play with them. Don't mess around with these guys. Development is everything. Because if the season starts and we go 2 weeks in and Brock get hurt, who is the center?
Cooper Beebe.
Cooper Beebe.
Why haven't we been working Cooper Beebe?
He's gotten some snaps, but not on a consistent basis. Like they'll
I love you,
share,
Max and Lori, but I need to come into your meeting room.
They shared snaps there for a while, but I think they like what they saw in the preseason game when he basically got the start, right?
Yes.
Because they didn't play. Oh no, Hoffman played a little bit, and then they brought Beebe.
He played
in.
like 2.5 series.
Yeah,
Hoffman.
yeah, and so they like what they saw from Beebe, and they're thinking, well, this probably is the eventual future. Well, sometimes
You better,
the
yeah,
future
better
is
start it
now,
out now,
right?
Yeah.
I would not change my thoughts into this new NFL. Your first 3 picks, you have to know as soon as you can, do they have a chance to be successful in this league? Not being stars, but, okay, we drafted this guy. We got to know. And we can't wait 3 years and be saying, well, no. And I talked to some scouts, and I don't know if you have, but I know they are continually arguing at the coaches. Hey, man, you love this guy. You stood on the table for this guy. Why you're not practicing this guy?
Yeah, put him in.
So
Why not?
Yes.
So you tell the story about, I guess it would have been 1992.
Yes.
Somebody said, play this guy.
Yeah, Jimmy just walked. See, that's what
And it affected you.
it affected me. I mean, I've told
So
this
go
story
ahead and tell
1,000
it.
times. Jimmy, Eric Williams was a rookie. He tried him a little bit at left tackle, didn't work. Right tackle, he looked at good. He looked at okay. And so I figured, I'm the starting right tackle. I got another year with this guy before before me and him really competing. We're at St. Ed's.
St. Ed's in
and
Austin.
we were in the little prayer room, where we was in a little prayer room. It wasn't nothing special. It was a little room, I guess, where all the Cardinals met or whatever.
It was the offensive line.
It was the little chapel.
Yeah, there was a
little
miniature chapel.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so we sitting in there. I'm sitting here. Eric's sitting right here. This is the door, coming right past you, Mick. And I'm sitting. Eric's. And we taking notes and everything. Me and Eric chopping it up, and Tony Wise is right there, like the cameras we talking.
Offensive
and
line
Jimmy
coach.
busts through the door. Just bust through the door. He had something serious to it.
He started his lips
Yeah,
start
lips
smacking.
moving.
Oh, stop.
Tony, he looked at Tony. Tony stops and he looks at Eric. Eric is our right tackle. He barely glanced at me. I'm sitting right next to Eric. The year before, you just told me I was one of the best 5 offensive linemen, and you was moving me out to right tackle because I was better at right tackle than Kevin Gogan, and you moved Gogan to left guard.
Were you shocked in that moment?
Well, no, this is the deal. He told me, because I was finna fight Jimmy over that, verbally. And he said, because I'd have beat him up physically. Before I even opened my mouth to go back and forth with him, he said, Nate, you have no choice. You either start at right tackle or you don't have a job, and you don't have a job. And I'm not a job on this offense, not a job at all. I said, okay, I get your drift, coach. I'm your right tackle. But so when he busted in there and did that with Eric, I kindly just waited till the meeting was over, burning up, went to Jim. I said, Coach, look at here, man. You told me that ain't changed. I'm still one of the best 5. Kevin Gogan, I sold Kevin Gogan out. Sorry, Kevin. Forgive me. I said, Kevin Gogan is not a better left guard than me. That's my natural position. And he went to Tony and said, put Nate back at left guard. That's only fair.
And I remember him telling the story, and Tony was like, well, no, because then we got to move people around.
Yeah.
I don't know that Eric's ready. And Jimmy basically was, he's your starting right tackle.
Yeah.
Fix it, and I don't care whose feelings you hurt.
Yes. The thing,
Sometimes it's got to be that way, and it's not like that sometimes now.
the thing is,
And how did that turn out?
it turned out 3 Super Bowls later. But what I'm trying to say is, if Chuma Adoga had his foot solidly in the door, I understand what you're saying. We have no left tackle. As of today, we have a potential starter in this young guy. We have a potential backup in Austin Rich, and we don't know. That is scary. The reason it is scary because you have a guy that's potentially going to make $60 million standing up, believing that this his backside is covered. That's why I don't believe in playing games. Now you finna go to the most important part of the offensive line, which is the middle. And if the middle is soft, then Dak's going to be gooey because they're going to dump. Never mind. I'm not going to.
Yeah. We'll stop right there. I think we got the idea.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Chris, I didn't go too far, did I?
we probably
Commercial.
need to take a break right now. And
So I can finish telling y'all.
that's right. We got some good stuff coming here on
Gooey,
Mixed
chewy, and
Shots
ooey.
next.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine said.
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mixed Shots.
Cowboys Nation, 2024 Dallas Cowboys training camp presented by American Airlines is here. Head to sunny Oxnard, California from July 25th through August 21st to watch the team practice. Admission is free. More information, visit dallascowboys.com/training camp.
And we continue here on Mixed Shots in beautiful Oxnard, California. Cowboys gonna scrimmage against the Rams here in about, start at 11 o'clock, I believe, so a couple hours, and that'll be exciting here and exciting for the fans if they were able to find out this was sort of a change in plans after the game on Sunday. The Rams evidently were having some problems with where they were practicing. Mm-hmm. They had plans to maybe practice against the Chargers or the Saints, but things fell through. And they after the game, they came to McCarthy and said, "Well, what about another scrimmage? We're just right down the road." So here we are.
So where are they located,
with the Rams?
The Rams. Where
They're
are
in
they?
Thousand Oaks.
They in Thousand Oaks?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll take a ride up there.
Go up there tomorrow and see what's going on in practice. If they let you in, they probably got
won't.
some serious security. Okay, so let's move to the other line, the defensive line, where the Cowboys were talking about moving a couple people around. I think for Mike Zimmer's taste, Fihoko came here as a defensive end. They moved him inside, and I don't think Mike thought he was big enough to play defensive tackle even as a pass rusher. So it sounds like he's going back outside to defensive end along with Chauncey Golston, who they still think can do some rushing inside, but he's more of a defensive end. And let's face it, it's not all about Marshawn Nealon. They really like what he's done so far. Thought he played really well in the preseason game, but who's the next guy up behind him? Now, we understand that maybe because of what happened with Sam Williams, they got to use Micah Parsons maybe more as a defensive end, or at least a pass rusher, than they wanted to, because he is still getting snaps at linebacker. But who's behind Nealon? And I think when they're looking at that, it's like, well, we need some help there. And I think they also have to figure out, even if they are force-feeding Mozzie to be one of the starting defensive tackles along with Oso Digizua, who's behind him at the nose tackle. And I think they've got to establish that. So have you seen anybody, Nate, that you catch your eye that could play in place of Mozzie if he's not out there?
Carl Davis did nice. He
Uh-huh.
did. I think he did
Exactly
real
what I was
nice.
gonna
It's
say.
like 2 or 3 plays in a row where he just knocked the offensive guard back and got tackles. I mean, so we'll see. He's a veteran type guy, and
this is 9th year.
Yeah, but you know what? Right about now is who's doing the job.
Okay.
And you. He did the job in the game. So here we go once again. I just think that if something don't hurry up and happen in the middle of our defense, we're gonna have to go get a guy. It's 2 positions that I worry about. It's our depth offensive line in the middle of our defensive line. If someone don't step up and say, "Hey, I'm that guy," you might have to find someone on the street.
Now, they have brought in Albert Huggins, who has some experience in the league, 5th or 6th year guy. We'll see what he can do. He's a bigger defensive tackle.
Right.
And I know Zim puts a premium on stopping the run, but again, you do need some pass rush in the middle.
You do?
Yeah.
And not just on 3rd down, right?
Yeah, because you don't know in this league, where it's 65% passing now, and some teams are 70. You're going to have somebody that can at least force it and crush down the pocket a little bit so our defensive ends can work inside and out. So it's a thin line. It's a very thin line. And unfortunately, I think on defense you can find guys on the inside that can do both fairly well. You don't have to be great, just fair.
The other guys there, they did draft in the 6th, 7th round, Justin Rogers.
Yes.
Young guy,
Yeah.
no experience. And then the other guy in there that's been getting snaps is Denzel Daxon, Savannah's guy.
Yeah, I actually really like him. And one note on him is when I talked to Will McClay about Denzel, he was saying how they actually loved his ability for double team coverage and what he can do in that area, and just how they looked at him before they even realized he was an international player. So they get that bonus roster,
Right.
17th guy on the practice
Right.
squad, but they were going to pick him up before they even knew he qualified internationally. They liked what he could do on that line. And so
Right.
I like seeing him get some reps here.
Speaking of, just to throw this out there, their former international guy, Isaac Alarcon.
With the 49ers?
He's with the 49ers and evidently doing some nice things. He's back playing offensive tackle.
That's good. That was good.
Maybe
for
they
him.
need to keep an eye on him.
I know he switched to defense and then went back to offense.
Well, the Cowboys switched him, and the Niners said, no, you're an offensive tackle. So he's one of their backup offensive tackles for the 49ers right now. But, yes, that's a position I think that the Cowboys have to obviously take a look at. But you know what? The good thing about today is we're going to see some of these guys, but the guys that didn't play in the scrimmage, the front line guys, will practice because it's a controlled practice, and they'll get some good work with the first teamers out here today, which those guys, if they're not going to play in the preseason game, and they kept 25 of them out of the game, then they need work, and we're going to be able to see it. And by the way, no problem with Dak Prescott. He's good to go, even though they gave him a day the other day with a sore ankle. You know, that's just something that he's going to have to deal with as you get older, and you had surgery somewhere.
Right.
You get sometimes you get soreness. It comes back and haunts you. I don't know if you ever had. Did you have knee surgery?
Yeah, it's just scopes and nothing.
A
Nothing
meniscus,
major, no.
right?
No, nothing major. No.
Yeah, but at some point it reminds you, oh, you had something done there, right?
Right.
You get a little arthritis, and so, but Dak's fine. He's good to go. Not really any update on CeeDee Lamb's situation. It's going to get done. It's just a matter of when. And with this new rules with the CBA on how basically rookies don't hold out anymore, Nate, you remember during your day all the guys that were missing training camp trying to get a contract, right? Not only rookies but veterans. I think I looked one year and 5 starters were missing in training camp because they were looking for contract extensions. And you guys dealt with it, right?
Yeah, you just got to
You ever hold
practicing.
out?
No. Any money was good money with me. I didn't care. I ain't trying to fight. I needed my per diem too, even though it went about $250 a week. Yeah.
What do you think it is now?
Oh, I don't know. I don't. The thing that keeps me sane is I don't worry about these guys' money. You get a lot of older guys worrying about these guys' money. That's their money. Yes, we put in some time to help them get it, but somebody put in some time to help us get us a little bit more money. So stop. Just whatever they got to do to get CeeDee Lamb back in here, and whatever CeeDee has to do to get back in here, they'll work it out.
It'll take place, right?
Yeah.
Everybody seems really concerned about it. The other thing I saw in the walkthrough, that Trayvon Diggs was doing the walkthrough with the first team defense at right cornerback. Now we're going to see when they turn him loose to be able to actually put the pads on and do more than 7-on-7. So it's getting close.
Yeah,
the other day when I was hollering out, we don't need we need Trayvon, y'all. Okay, he's our best corner when healthy. But what I was trying to get everybody to understand, we got Al Harris, and the guys that we do have are doing a great job. And I think they'll even get better this year. But if we can get Diggs back at some point during the season, we will be it will help our pass rush too, because they can come up and press and give us that split second more for a pass rusher to get home.
Right. So that sort of reminds me, last week, Mike Zimmer was telling the story of they were in a meeting and they were going over different ways if they had to take a cornerback away, a wide receiver away, how they would have to play the guy. And he had 2 different schemes. And he goes, and after he gave this long talk about this and what we're going to do, and he said, oh, by the way, we got 2 Pro Bowl corners. You guys just go out there and play and forget about everything I just talked about.
Yeah.
Because he was saying my corners can take guys away, talking about Bland and Diggs. Yeah. He'll be ready for the start of the season. They just want to be careful with a guy coming back from a torn ACL and putting him out there in contact drills too soon. But he looks like he's ready to go. We saw, I think it was maybe even 2 weeks ago, that after one of the practice they were all huddled up, and then all of a sudden Diggs and Parsons start sprinting for the end zone, and it had to be a good 40 yards, right? Diggs beat him, and Parsons don't like losing at anything, right? And I don't know if, and we've talked about this, if Diggs was running in his stocking feet, because he doesn't like putting his shoes on too much.
He does not like his shoes, no.
But he can run, and he's chomping at the bit, but you got to be careful, just the way they were with DeMarvion Overshown in the preseason game. I think he got like 11 snaps, but he had 3 tackles in 11 snaps. So he's a guy that, he's coming back from the ACL. You don't want to expose him too soon. Just kind of ease him in.
Just takes time.
Because, as they'll say, we can't win the Super Bowl on August 14th. Get these guys ready to be able to start and play. So, but Diggs is on the way. There's no problem there. He's good to go. And, talking to the coaches, they seem to think that from a mental standpoint, he's maybe has dealt with that fact that, when you first come back after an injury, you got to get over it mentally to trust what they fixed. So I think he's good there. You know what? I've got a little bit of a historical surprise for you guys, and I think we'll take the break early so we have some time to talk about that on Mick Shots coming up next.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says.
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
The official 2024 Dallas Cowboys Star Magazine training camp preview is now available. This year's edition features scouting reports, position analysis, a pull-out schedule poster, and articles from your favorite Cowboys writers. Get your training camp preview today at your local pro shop or dallascowboys.com/star. And this is what it looks like. And one of the first articles is, of course, Mickey Spagnola's.
So
don't miss it.
Awfully good start to a magazine, by the way. All right, we continue here with Mick Shots, and I was looking something up and got reminded that in 1986, when the Cowboys were in training camp in Thousand Oaks, California, this was a significant week 38 years ago. First of all, I saw on August 11th, 1986, it was just a one line in the notes at the end, and it said, the Dallas Cowboys worked out Nathaniel the Kitchen Newton, 6'2.5", 329 pounds. Do you realize that?
Yeah,
38 years ago.
49 pounds. They did me a favor.
And
329? Is what they listed?
329 they had him listed at, and Jim Myers, the offensive line coach, said he's got the biggest arms I've ever seen on a man. And then a day later, they signed on August 12th. They signed Nate Newton, brought him into training camp, and Myers had this to say. He goes, he's in terrible condition, about 40 pounds overweight, but he still did 5 pull-ups and did them the right way, too. Right now, I'll take all the talent I can get. So in the first practice, we documented that Nate, playing guard, had to go up against Randy White and John Dutton, 2 veteran defensive tackles. knocked them both to the ground,
Let's go.
and the nice guy Nate he helped them up. Were you a little worried you might have hurt veterans?
No, I'm telling it right here, man. Randy White was special, bro. John Dutton, not so much. He was mean.
He was at the end of his career.
Yeah, but he was mean. These were some great gentlemen, man, and they was kind on the weight. They was very kind on the weight.
The 329.
But the 5 pull-ups, they were right because him and he's a Hall of Famer defensive line coach. For Randy, he was Hall of Famer anyway. The defensive line coach. They betted that I couldn't do 5 pull-ups, and I heard them.
You overheard it?
Yeah, and that's what made me do the 5 pull-ups and no more. I could have did many more pull-ups, but they, so when they say get on a pull-up bar, I bet you can't do 5 pull-ups, And the defensive line coach took him up on it. So what I did is I jumped up there, right, which they ain't think I could jump either. I could dunk a basketball. So I jumped up there. I pulled up once. I pulled up twice. The third one, I went to trembling. And the fourth one, I just barely got my chin. The fifth one, then I looked at him and said, pay him his money. That's what I told Coach Bauer, pay him his money. I knew I was going to get cut, so I was not going to make it easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you might as well.
I'm like, man, I'm getting cut. I won't be here. I get my autograph from Coach Landry, and I'll be gone.
And the reason Nate was eligible to come and work out for the Cowboys was the USFL
yes.
Folded probably the week before, or at least they said
2 weeks.
2 weeks, right? Yeah. The Cowboys were in London, and the NFL won the USFL was filing a lawsuit against the NFL, and the USFL won, and they were awarded a $1 payment.
And then, so anything like that is a triple reward.
So you got $3, right?
So we had to split that up against, how many players.
You got a penny, right?
We didn't even get a penny.
So by then they were able. You were at the Tampa Bay Bandits. And so he was eligible to come out. But something else happened that week, Nate. Do you remember?
Did we get Herschel in?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Another former USFL.
So 38 years ago yesterday, they signed Herschel Walker to a 5-year, $5 million contract, which was unprecedented in Cowboy history to get that much money.
Absolutely.
Mad veterans.
Do you remember how mad the veterans were?
Oh. Yeah. And they didn't care nothing about bringing it out. They didn't care nothing about saying it. Oh, they was hot. It was 2 guys they were mad at. Remember the quarterback? We signed. I can't think of his name. He played at Southern Methodist.
Cornerback or quarterback?
Quarterback. I can't think of his name.
Well, at that time, the backups behind Danny White were Steve Pellure and Gary Hogeboom.
And then, we brought in another guy, black guy, quarterback.
Oh, you drafted out of Southern Mississippi.
Yes. They drafted him, but he went to the USFL and played first and then came here.
Right.
And
he wasn't.
Hang on, I'm looking, guys.
And he wasn't ready. Well, I've got it right here.
I'm telling
you. Okay, this was 1986, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
86.
Reggie Collier.
Reggie, I hate to stand up, but hey, look at here. Look at here.
Nate's going in.
You talking about some guys were hot because he had clauses in his contract that, and that's how they tried to hide the money. And every year, almost at the end of the year, the NFL Players Association would send out everybody's contract. And they found out all that millions and millions of hidden dollars that they was paying Reggie Collier. Randy White came unglued, where he had to fight almost every other year to get paid. Everson Wall was incensed, man. Like, I cannot believe this. And I'm like, USFL, baby.
So what happened was the Cowboys had the rights to Herschel Walker.
Yes, they did.
They drafted him in the 5th round in 1985. But he was property of the New Jersey Generals owned by
Donald. I will make you lose all your money, Trump.
And he had signed a personal services contract, a guaranteed 4 years, $6 million deal. So they had to, so even though the USFL folded and the Cowboys had the rights to Herschel, Trump had to give permission for Herschel to play in the NFL because he had a personal services contract, right? So he comes in August 12th, the day Nate signs, and they had a press conference for him. He hadn't even signed yet, right? They got him signed the next day. So 38 years ago yesterday, they signed Herschel Walker. Wow. And the first thing Tony Dorsett said was, trade me. I'm out of here. And by the end of the day, he kind of calmed down because now Herschel was going to make more money than Tony in his 10th year with the Cowboys. And I remember when they first asked, and I was there, they asked Tony what he felt about them signing Herschel, and he said, I feel like $1 million because he wanted $1 million too. But the best thing, here's what Everson Walls had to say. And Everson, our partner on Mick Shots, right, he had the right to renegotiate his contract because he had incentives that he achieved in '85. He led the league in interceptions once again. Well, he came out to practice, and you know how you kind of tape up your ankles and your socks and everything, so they called them the spats back then. He put a dollar sign on his ankles. He painted a dollar sign on his ankles, and he said if they were going to do something like this, as slick as the Cowboys try to be sometimes, they'd have signed everyone else first because Mike Sherrod was holding out. Doug Cosby needed a contract. He needed a contract. They are going to hear from a lot of people about this. They know there is going to be a backlash, and there was from the veteran players that year. And then Herschel came in, and they finally kind of made peace and shared the running back position. And that year, the first half of the year, if you remember, Nate, you guys finished after 8 games 6-2, tied with the Giants, who were 6-2 for first place in the NFC East. And then in Game 9, Danny White had his wrist broken, ligaments separated. The Giants never lost. They won that game barely. The Giants never lost another game, won the Super Bowl. The Cowboys only won one more game after Danny got hurt.
Wow.
You know what's amazing? If Herschel only knew that he would really, really impact the Cowboys in a different way.
And that's where I was getting to.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of how the trade went down in '89 when they traded him for all those draft choices to Minnesota. Well, the thing that happened, if you think about it, after he got there, you guys never had another winning season.
Oh, no. We became a one-dimensional team. We were well-balanced before Herschel got there. Well-balanced. No one player dominated the scene. Even though we had stars like Tony Dorsett, Tony Hill, Danny White.
Randy White.
Yeah, Danny. We
on offense.
On offense, but they would spread that ball around, and Coach Landry would have it working, and we became Herschel Walker. And when Jimmy got here, a lot of offensive coaches said, we're Herschel Walker, and Jimmy said, that's what I'm afraid of.
Well, I could remember Jimmy saying the reason that he wanted a more versatile running back was that Herschel was a straight line runner, right? And his whole deal was running over people,
right?
Like he did Bill Bates when they were in college playing against
way to bring
each
that
other.
up,
Yeah,
way to bring that up.
But anyway, that was the start of that week. Nate Newton, 6-time Pro Bowl guard, signs with the Cowboys. And then
I was the reason we went to the Super Bowl. They built the team around me. When you're 400 pounds, they have no other choice but to build the team around you.
You can also do 5 pull-ups, everybody.
That's a lot of building to get around, right?
That's what I'm saying. They built the team around me.
All right, well, we're out of time, but I just thought that was
I knew right away.
I knew of the Herschel Walker thing, but I forgot that was the week Nate showed up.
Yeah.
And the guy that was the assistant equipment manager, Nick.
We don't need no Trayvon Diggs. We got Carson.
A little behind-the-scenes banter here. And so we better get out before it gets too heated, right?
Yeah, we'll
Nate
get it.
Newton,
We'll get to the cornerback.
Savannah, I'm Mickey, and we'll be back when, Chris? Because
Monday.
Friday we're traveling.
Monday next week.
Monday
Mick
next
Shots,
week
Monday.
for Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com.
I'll be calling in. I'll be on the road. I'll call in, Mick.
All right.
Yeah. Come on, don't spoil it.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!